afternoon, race fans. Welcome here as we continue on the first round of the Duracell Cup Series Chase for the Championship, the playoffs, whatever you want to call it. This is playoff race number 2, race 28 of Season 4 of the NCAA Duracell Cup Series, and it takes place here today at one of 2 road courses that we will be at here during the postseason. We kick things off at the Charlotte Roval. Now, the Charlotte Roval has definitely had a part to play in the playoffs in the last 3 seasons. It has had 3 different drivers go to victory lane as well, and we've got every chance of a 4th different driver taking the checker flag here today with who we've got starting up inside of our top 10. None of our top 10 have won here at this road course, or this speedway turned road course, if you will. J Shelton, who last week came up about half a car length short at 20 miles per hour in a fight to the fuel finish at Richmond. She finished second place. She starts on the pole position for this one, looking for some Richmond redemption. Alongside her is going to be J Lopes in the 84. Now, Cody does have a teammate who won here previously. As a matter of fact, he's the defending winner, so Cody has that to be able to lean on. Carson Gum and J Deaver are going to be your 2 highest starting playoff contenders, and definitely needed good starting track position here today as the 2 of them come into this race 14th and 15th in points respectively. Remember, only the top 12 that have not already locked themselves in through wins are advancing into the next round of the playoffs. And completing your top 5 is going to be former winner this season, Patrick Smith in the 77. He's looking to pick up his 2nd career victory in Duracell Cup Series competition. We're going to be having you look down in the description below at your full starting lineup, but you will see a number of notable playoff contenders starting towards the rear of the field, and we talked about during the non-charter qualifying race earlier on today. Good starting track position is going to be very, very important. Also, execution on pit road will be important. 11 laps in our non-charter race. We did not see pit road come into play there. We will see it come into play in this 28-lap main event. Dylan Young, he locked himself into the round of 12 last week with that victory at Richmond. We'll see if another playoff contender will be able to lock themselves up a spot regardless of what happens next week at Indianapolis. But we've got a road course race to run here today. Let's go down trackside for those most famous words.
Drivers, start your engines!
Pace car is going to lead this field around half of this racetrack. We did not do the full pace lap because for some reason, full pace lap does not like these drivers to even make it into turn 1. Alright, so we talked about former winners at this track, and 2 of them are starting towards the rear of the field, so we'll see if they're going to be able to work their way up through traffic. Those former winners are the inaugural winner back in Season 1, which was Jesse Turner. In Season 2, Cole Baker went to victory lane. And in Season 3, the defending winner of this race, it's Michael Norman in the 18. Jesse Turner, of those 3 that I mentioned, former winners here, the only one of the 3 that is a playoff contender. As a matter of fact, Michael Norman, when he won here last season, he would then go on the following week to win in Indianapolis, so had back-to-back wins. But he is not in the playoffs this season in that Michael Norman Motorsports Ford Mustang. But as I said, gives some information for J Lopes. His teammate to lean on is Cody is still looking for his first trip to victory lane this season, as is J Shelton, who has a 2-time winner on her team in the form of J Deaver, who starts kitty corner to her there on the outside of row number 2. 28 laps of racing here at the Charlotte Roval to determine whether or not another driver will advance in the playoffs or not. Green flag is in the air. Let's roll. Top 4 get themselves single file. Battle will be from 5th place onward. Patrick Smith, V Almariego tussling for 5th place. Playoff contenders Jordan Lopez and Ryan Brommer looking to settle it out for 7th. Looks like Lopez will take it around the outside. Brommer tucks in line in front of Levi McIntire. Then you got playoff contenders here in K Batson and T Wright. T Wright currently in a battle with Austin LaPlante in the 48 car. LaPlante, who had a strong car last week in the early stages of Richmond, but got some early damage, and then, of course, that somewhat freak caution in the middle of a green flag pit stop cycle didn't give him the finish he was looking for. And there's Dylan Young, who came into today's race completely worry-free, as he knows he will be advancing into the round of 12, the next round of the playoffs. Right now, the guy everybody is looking to beat, that is below that cut line of 12th in the standings, would be Ryan Butcher in the 78. He right now holds that final transfer spot in the next round of the playoffs. 2 points in hand over Mitchell Collins, 3 over Carson Gum, 6 over Cole Deaver, and 7 over Ryan Brommer. And it looks like the caution is out. It is. Yellow flag is out. However, the race leader had already crossed the start-finish line, so J Shelton will lead J Llamas and company back to the stripe here before the pace car will pick them up. You know, of 3 drivers that I just mentioned that come into this race below that 12th standings cut line, 3 of them are up inside of the top 10, Deaver, Gum, and Brommer. So if they get good finishes here today, that could really make things close heading into Indianapolis next week. Try to remember J Shelton's last trip to victory lane. I might take the opportunity here under the caution break to look back and see. But I know that she is on quite a winless streak right now. And as mentioned, only one driver at S3 Motorsports has found victory lane this year. That's been Cole Deaver, and that's been twice. Deaver winning back his first career win at Darlington. And then he followed it up with a win at a road course. It was the Indianapolis Grand Prix at Indianapolis Road Course. Caution flag received by J Shelton here, as the caution officially came out on lap number 1, I believe. Well, actually, no, officially came out on lap number 2, since the race leader had already crossed the start-finish line. Let's see who it might have involved. Oh, it involved one of our playoff drivers, the former champion C Dollerton, who came in after last week at Richmond, 8th in the point standings. And while this may not necessarily end his day, it's certainly going to have him off the pace, so certainly not what he needed. J Gardner appears to have a lot of damage on the Hunt Brothers Dodge Challenger as well. So those might at least be 2 of the culprits bringing out this first caution of the day. Let's go back, take a look at a replay of what happened. We'll come back, document if these drivers did come to pit road here under this early yellow flag or not. And then we'll get ready to put them back under the green flag. We'll also take the opportunity, I'll go back and see when the last time was that the 0-2 did find victory lane, as Shelton shows the way here at the Charlotte Roval. We have to go all the way back here to the back straightaway chicane, because this is really where it all started. We're watching Charles Sandfer, but up ahead, watch the left side of your screen. A lot of drivers had difficulty with the chicane. I think Carter Friesen, the 37, actually got spun around going into the backstretch chicane, and then Charles Sandfer's going to run into the back of Charles Belding. That gives him a lot of front-end damage to start with. Jesse Turner back here actually got hooked off the nose of J Millz as well, but he was able to get his car righted, turned back in the correct direction. We'll go back and see if Carter Friesen got some assistance there as well through the back straightaway chicane. But we're now going to see there was even more contact that was exchanged out of NASCAR Turn 4. Charles Sandfer running down here on the apron. Now watch the 14 of J Gardner, who was outside. I don't know if Sandfer thought he was clear to come back up the track, but obviously he was not. Gardner was there. Sanford's going to get hooked up into the outside wall, and the high banking, self-cleaning racetrack that Charlotte is as the speedway configuration, he comes back down into Michael Rood. C Dollerton, J Qualls also going to get a piece. Look at Benny Watson come into the vicinity there. J Taurus in the 16. They're all going to just narrowly avoid, I think. Laura Chung, Dylan Schwalber, and S Ozkan all barely getting through as well. So Michael Rood's day is done. Charles Sandfer's day may be done. Let's see if we can find out the initial contact again there, see who it was that got into Carter Friesen back in the chicane on the back straightaway. Well, Friesen didn't necessarily get help, but he did make contact with the car just up ahead of him, the 57 of Matthew Rodriguez. Watch how Friesen's going to drive it deep into the chicane. Rodriguez is turning into the chicane to make the corner, and I don't even know how Friesen thought he was going to make it, to be honest. Then he's going to get a hit from Jack Mitchell in the 0-1. That's what loops him around, and then Here comes Belding coming to a stop. There's where Sandfer gets into the back of him. We already saw the end result of all that over in turn 4. So caution is out for the first time today. I do believe that it was the Charles Sandfer J Gardner contact over in turn 4 that brought the yellow flag out. The Friesen spin did not. So caution's out for the first time here today as we'll go back for the restart here at the Roval. Lights are out atop the pace car, so we will go back green flag race on lap 7 of 28. None of your race leaders came to pit road under that yellow flag. And so if there was a question mark of whether these drivers could make it 28 laps on fuel, this opportunity to save under pacing might actually allow them to make it the scheduled distance. We'll wait and see, though. Usually in the past couple of seasons, we have ended up having pit road come into play late in the race, so never say never when it comes to a track like this. Of course, last week at Richmond has taught you never to expect anything, because always the track is going to surprise you. Drivers that are out of the race after that incident we saw, there are 3 of them in total. Chris Dollerton, Charles Sandfer, and Michael Rood. So Dollerton might find himself in a very interesting situation heading into Indianapolis next week. Of course, the non-charter driver that now is locked into the final 10 races of the season because of making the 10 starts required this year and having that early win in the charter race at Manassas. Was 8th in the point standings coming into this one. He was, however, a total of 20 points ahead of 12th in points Ryan Butcher. So we'll have to see just how far he falls. I think he will fall down into a cutoff line position, but maybe not far enough back that even with a decent finish, maybe a top 10, top 15 next week, he could still advance into the next round of the playoffs. Mentioned the fact I was going to take the opportunity to look back and see when Jessica Shelton's last trip to victory lane was. You'd have to go all the way back to season 2, the third to last race of the season, where she picked up a super speedway win at Armory Digital. But she is riding nearly a 2-season winless streak, so we'll see if she's going to be able to possibly snap that here today with what would be S3 Motorsports' only 3rd win on the season with their 2nd driver on their squad. Cody Lamas lines up 2nd, Cole Deaver in 3rd, Carson Gum is 4th, Patrick Smith 5th. Then it's going to be V Almariego, Jordan Lopez, Ryan Brommer, Levi McIntire, and Keith Batson. That will be the top 10 as we get back under the green flag. Single file restart as opposed to the double wide that we had to start this race. Saw a lot of side-by-side racing down the back straightaway headed for that chicane. It'll take a little bit of time for them to get back to that type of racing. About mid-pack is where we will start to actually see that side-by-side racing take place. So we could end up settling into a long green flag run from here on out. Saw there was actually quite a bit of a gap from Dylan Young in the 12th position back to 13th, Jacob Thibodeaux. I don't know if we had a stack up there on the restart or not. Now bear in mind, when the race leader comes around to take the green flag, most of the drivers outside of the top 10 are just heading into the chicane, so it's kind of difficult to get up through the gears when you're actually making your way through a heavy braking zone area. And there is some right side damage there on that Circuit City Chevrolet, so he might have actually messed up the chicane exit, and brushed the wall, and that might have been what stacked everybody up behind him as well. His teammate William Brock there in the 14th position, and Brock's coming to pit road. So I'm wondering if maybe Thibodeaux got into the wall and Brock may have run into the back of Thibodeaux. Whatever the case, I don't see how this can be a scheduled stop for the Cinevis Chevrolet. And caution is out. Yellow flag is out again. Race leader Shelton had already taken across the line, and looks like it could have been possibly the 47 of Jesse Turner, who's on pit road with a lot of rear end damage. Laura Chung just hit pit lane for a stop. Don't know if Laura was caught up in the incident or if this is a possible strategy call. Charlotte Roval is one of those tracks where you can come down, take on your 4 tires of fuel, and leave still on the lead lap. And if all these drivers would like to come to pit road under this caution, Laura Chung could stay out and maybe inherit the race lead. So that'd be a huge strategy call Same could be said for William Brock in the 88. So the timing of this yellow could be paying dividends by leaps and bounds for those two drivers. William Brock was definitely on pit road before the caution came out. Laura Chung, I'm not certain if she hit the commitment line before or after the caution came out and pits were open or closed. But Shelton's going to come out of the final chicane. She's going to cross our finish line and receive the second caution of the day. Pace car will pick her up over here in either turn 1 or turn 2, as it just now leaves its designated spot on pit road. There you see Brock and Chung over there. That's heading into what would be NASCAR turn 1. As you can see, they are clearly on the lead lap. So now they've just got to catch up. And if these race leaders all come down pit road, who knows? We could be looking at our new first and second place drivers. J Qualls has a lot more damage than I think he got from the earlier incident, the first caution. So I think he actually might have been involved in this wreck as well. Austin LaPlante in the 48's got some front end damage he didn't have before. Matthew Rodriguez and J Taurus. We might have had ourselves another stack up going into the back straightaway chicane. And I believe that two-time winner Jesse Turner, a former winner here at the Charlotte Roval, the inaugural winner at the Charlotte Roval, I think he also would have gotten a piece, and he actually was on pit road long enough that he's going to be falling a lap down to the race leader. Let's go back and see what happened. I'm going to wager money that it was over on that back straightaway chicane. We'll find out if I'm right. I don't think this is what brought the caution out, but it certainly was an incident involving James Qualls. Watch here as everybody heads down towards the chicane. Everybody tries to pick which lane they want for their braking zone, and further back there, drivers just do not hit the brakes. Jack Mitchell runs into the back of Qualls. Our non-charter winner earlier on today, RJ Bishop, gets a piece. And was there a wreck up here that everybody was slowing down for? J Millz is going to get turned off the nose of J Taurus, who in turn gets hit by Benny Watson. I think all these drivers might have gotten through relatively unscathed. Well, that's why Turner came to pit road. He got jacked up from behind by Matthew Rodriguez. And then Johnny Gardner is going to take a hit right there as well into the back of the Air Force Ford Mustang. And then Qualls, as if he didn't have enough damage, he's going to finish him up. Oh, and then Jesse Turner got flipped on his lid. That's why he had to go to pit road and why he had such an extended stay. He had to get towed there. Oh, that is a tough break for Jesse Turner. Turner came into this race 6th in the playoff standings. We mentioned a former winner here at the Roval back in season 1. And 7 laps in, this was not how he was going to be expecting his day to turn out, as he finds himself upside down in the middle of the back straightaway chicane, and he will be off the lead lap when we go back green. Tough break there for one of our playoff contenders, but he's one of several playoff drivers that have sustained some early damage here today already at the road course. Well, with the timing of that yellow, our top 10 has absolutely shuffled up completely. Everyone was down pit road there under that caution, with the exception of Jacob Thibodeaux. That wounded car, which was running in 12th position, decided to stay out, so he'll be leading us back to green. We haven't yet gotten the 1 to green signal. We should get this next time by, as we did have the lap machine of Jesse Turner to add the extra lap onto our counter. William Brock and Laura Chung, that caution worked out absolutely for them. They were able to come down pit road, take their service just before the caution came out. They stayed out when everybody else pitted, so Brock will restart in 2nd, Chung will restart in 3rd. Cody Lamas won the battle off of pit road, so he is going to be restarting in 4th with Cole Deaver in 5th. Jessica Shelton's pit crew did not have a clean pit stop. She's going to drop a couple of positions behind both Lamas and Cole Deaver. Levi McIntire's team was on it, though. They move him up to 7th. Trey Wright will restart in 8th. Dylan Young in 9th. And V Almariego is going to complete the top 10. Let's find out where the rest of your playoff contenders are going to restart here, as when we take the green flag, we will be at 17 laps to go. Jordan Lopez lines up in 11th. 12th will be Keith Batson. 13th, Carson Gum. 14th, Nathan Ormond. Got to go all the way back here to find Ryan Butcher, right now in 21st. Mitchell Collins is in 25th. Zach Rogers in 26th. 27th will be Charles Belding. Adam Garcia, he is in 30th. And Orion Brommer, right now, is in 35th. Johnny Gardner still sits on pit road getting damage repaired. You saw Jesse Turner there as we were cycling through, but he is now 1 lap down in 38th. And another driver's gone to the garage area to join Chris Dollerton, Charles Sandfer, and Michael Rood. That will be Matthew Rodriguez in the 57. So 38 drivers still running, 37 on the lead lap. And a badly damaged race car is going to be leading us back to green in the form of Jacob Thibodeaux. Right side damage, hood damage, you can clearly see on his Chevrolet. But the question is just how up to speed will he be? His teammate, William Brock, will be right behind him. Now, Laura Chung, I mean, we mentioned back in the non-charter qualifying session that if any of our non-charter drivers, since they were going to be starting 37th on back in the grid, if they were going to have a shot of at least even getting a decent finish here today with what was going to be poor starting track position, they were going to have to play some kind of pit strategy, and that's exactly what Laura Chung did. So credit to her. Is Jesse Turner going to come alongside here? Turner, a lap down machine, and this is going to make things interesting for this restart as well, as Turner's going to have to get up alongside of the 33 coming to the start-finish line. Turner would love to be able to get around Jacob Thibodeaux before they end up taking the green flag, get himself a quick yellow, and get back on the lead lap, allow him to be able to pick up more positions and more points. Now, we talked about with Chris Dollerton out of the race, how he could find himself below the cut line heading into Indianapolis. The other drivers, however, that came in below the cut line, with the exception of R Brommer, doing quite well. Mitchell Collins has been able to work his way up now into the almost top 20. Carson Gum and Cole Deaver both running right now up inside of the top 15, with Deaver the highest right now in 5th. Carson Gum running back in 12th place here for this restart. Well, Jacob Thibodeaux was a two-time winner last year, but neither of his wins were at a road course. Plus the fact that with not coming to pit road since we started this race, he is going to be at a disadvantage fuel-wise to everybody else around him. So not sure what this strategy call is for the 33 car, but we'll see it play out here as when the green flag comes out. There will be 16 laps remaining. Looks like J Gardner has returned back onto the racetrack. He will also be a lap down as the green flag flies once again at the Charlotte Roval. And Jesse Turner started flying there as well as he hit that very high rumble strip known as the Turtle out of the chicane, allowing Thibodeaux to be able to pull away. Battle's going to be for third. Cody Llamas and Laura Chung. Llamas has the advantage in this corner on the top side. Chung trying to counter it, but Cody's going to swing around the outside and take third place away. William Brock trying to get by the lap machine of Jesse Turner to get up there to his teammate for the race lead. Jessica Shelton led the first 10 laps of this race. Now mired back in traffic, looks ahead to teammate Cole Deaver. Right now in 6th. Levi McIntyre right there in the 99 as well. We do have actually quite a number of non-playoff drivers up here towards the front that could spoil an automatic ticket into the round of 12 for a playoff driver. Right now you've got 4 non-playoff contenders up inside of the top 5, and 5 of them, actually make that 6 of them, up inside of the top 7. As William Brock is going to get around Jesse Turner, and here comes Jacob Thibodeaux to pit road, as is Laura Chung in the 27. And the caution flag is out. William Brock just ran his fastest lap of the race, as he'll come around at the halfway point to receive the yellow flag. And oh man, another playoff driver, J Millz, and that says day done for the driver, the most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series, who came into this one 9th in the playoff standings. And Adam Garcia, another playoff driver, has been involved. We know Dylan Young is already locked in to the round of 12. Adam Garcia had 16 points between himself and Jordan Lopez for the second spot. And Laura Chung, another very timely caution for her as she gets her pit stop done and will actually be lining up still on the tail end of the lead lap. But 2 playoff drivers involved in this one. One of them's day could most certainly be over. The other one questionable. Let's go back and see what happened here as William Brock will pace the field for the first time today here at the Charlotte Roval. Well, this is a situation that was just never going to work. It surprises me. I talked about the fact that there is not that tire barrier there on the back straightaway chicanes. These drivers are able to go into this bus stop with a little bit more confidence, but not like this. Not 3 wide. That's Collins on the top side, Rogers in the middle, Phil Parker on the bottom. Actually, the contact was ahead of them. Ryan Butcher getting spun by Michael Norman. S Ozkan's going to hit the 78 right there, and then Rogers going to get a hit from behind by Dylan Schwallenberg. That completely blocks up the track. Now watch here as Adam Garcia comes flying in, J Millz comes flying in, RJ Bishop. I mean, do these guys not have brakes? They have to see the incident taking place up ahead of them. Why are they not slowing down? That's what is kind of confusing me. Benny Watts has now got some damage, and Garcia's going to get a second shot there from Charles Belding. I mean, of all the things that are perplexing me, I mean, it's a braking zone for first off. I mean, why are you flying into the corner in a portion of the track where you absolutely have to be on the brakes? And number 2, if there's a wreck up ahead of you, why are you still in the accelerator? Why are you not lifting? Why are you not on the brakes? But I don't know, it's these guys' choice, but it's definitely choices that they may live to regret depending on where their playoff situation is next week in Indianapolis. At least 4, maybe 5 playoff drivers were involved in that wreck alone on the back straightaway. And so, no doubt about it, the Charlotte Roval is playing its part into setting up next week's elimination race, but maybe not in the way that these fans were hoping for, because they were hoping to see some pit strategy here today, some green flag racing, and these drivers, at least for the time being, they're driving as if it's the last lap, and they have to be absolutely desperate going into these corners. I don't understand the mentality, to be honest with you, but we're halfway through this race. Maybe cooler heads will prevail as we draw close to that checkered flag. Green flag set to come back out once again as we close in on 10 laps to go here at the Charlotte Roval. There will be more lap machines to deal with, including William Brock. Now, Brock was the race leader, and I don't know if he ran out of fuel or what happened, but he spent a long time on pit road. He just came to pit road about 2 laps ago, giving up the lead. I thought it was just for a routine stop to get himself off sequence with everybody else, but he stayed there long enough for J Llamas under pacing to come around and put him -1. So he'll line up on the inside line along with Jesse Turner and J Gardner. That hands the race lead over to J Llamas. Cole Deaver in second, J Shelton third, Levi McIntyre and T Wright will complete the top 5. Jordan Lopez, Dylan Young, Keith Batson, Vince Almariego, and Carson Gum. That's going to be the top 10. Blue Oval Automotive have 3 of their 4 drivers in 4th through 6th. The 4th driver, however, will not reach the conclusion. J Millz out of the race, along with J Qualls and RJ Bishop. So 7 drivers will not reach the finish of this race, as it will be 11 laps to go when J Llamas gets us back under the green flag. Should have taken the opportunity here under yellow to find out when J Llamas' last win was in the Duracell Cup Series. See if we can find a space of time to be able to do that here, as Cody's going to lead them down through the final chicane. Green flag back in the air. Whoa! See the 47 in the air that he got? My goodness! But it got him ahead of J Llamas. And Cody, I think that kind of took him by surprise, because now Cole Deaver is there to capitalize. He wants the race lead. Talked about the fact that Cole Deaver is a former winner at a road course this season, winning the Indy Grand Prix at the Indy Road Course, and he is going to move to the front. So Cole Deaver, in only his first playoff appearance of his career, looking to lock himself into the round of 12. Cody did have J Shelton on his back bumper for second place, but now Shelton having to deal with the lap car of J Gardner. Clears him and now goes to work on the 84 through NASCAR turns 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway. Deaver looking to put the 47 car a lap down again. You see right there how Deaver braked early to allow the 47 the opportunity to find his braking zone. That's why I don't understand the wrecks that we're having over there in the back straightaway chicane. Yes, I understand different drivers have different braking zones, but you know, when you end up seeing one driver just completely run over another driver and then oncoming traffic come flying in, that's what I don't understand. And I don't understand this. 3 wide through the chicane, and T Wright's going to pay the price. He's going to loop it around in front of traffic, and are they going to throw the caution for that is the question. No. No yellow flag came out for that spin by the 28. So we stay under the green flag. T Wright was certainly on the losing end of that exchange. Held up a couple of drivers as well, Dylan Young, Carson Gum, and N Ormond. As Young's going to move into 8th place, Gum into 9th. And there's another of our former winners, Cole Baker. He's now up to 13th place. Keep an eye on him. When Baker won this event back in Season 2, he was driving a Chevrolet, now in a Toyota Camry. Back up towards the front. Looks like J Deaver is faster than Jesse Turner through the speedway sections of the racetrack. Turner is able to hold his own in the braking zone areas. And that's what's woeing J Deaver up a little bit and actually allowed J Llamas to get to his back bumper just a second ago. Now, earlier when Turner, on the last restart, had the leaders around him, he actually ducked onto pit lane to get out of everybody's way. Not the case here. I think that's more so the fact that when he ducked onto pit road the last time, he was already still a lap down. He is hoping that caution comes out at this point in time to put him back on the tail end of the lead lap. And it is playing havoc with the race leader in the 08. Because while he's having to adhere to the 47's braking zones, J Llamas is back there reeling him in, as well as his teammate Jessica Shelton. So we're about to have ourselves a 3-car fight potentially for the race lead as Deaver took a little look there to driver's right. No chance to be able to make that move in that corner. One of the slower corners here at this racetrack. You almost literally coast through both of those right-handers before picking up the throttle again. If you get back to the throttle too soon, you're going to find yourself out there in the grass. See the closing rate right there on the straightaway? And Turner's saying, if you want to get around me, you're going to have to get around me on the outside line. Turner's holding his spot as he has the right to do so. And the battle for 4th just closed up. Levi McIntire looks back in his rearview mirror, and the bright red motorcraft Ford of Keith Batson got bigger and bigger entering into that braking zone area. Now Levi McIntire going to get the better corner exit. 39's got some right side damage, a little bit of damage on the front as well. I mean, we see how the 47 of Jesse Turner is having to deal with lack of straightaway speed. You have to wonder if some of these guys back here, like Batson, if that damage that they got earlier on, if that's affecting their straightaway speed. Now, I'm going to just throw this out there as a possibility because I don't know for 100%, but I think that these drivers should be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel if we remain under the green flag, but I'm not going to get myself quoted on that, especially based off of what we had happen last week at Richmond. Take nothing for granted. That's what these playoffs have started to tell us. Let's take a look at some of the guys towards the rear of the field, playoff contenders who are still soldiering on. Jordan Lopez in the 38, the defending champion, right now scored in 31st position. T Wright, who we saw have that spin out of the chicane, he just came to pit road moments ago. So he's right now scored in 29th. Carson Gum dropped back quite a bit. I think he might have actually just been on pit road moments ago as well. He scored in 25th. There's Adam Garcia, who came into this race the points leader of those already not locked in to the round of 12. He's right now at 21st. Charles Belding has been through the ringer here today. Number of incidents he's been involved in, still soldiering on in 20th. And there's your cutoff line driver, Ryan Butcher, who just ran his fastest lap of the race there on lap 21. He's right now in 18th position. Now the drivers he has to worry about, Carson Gum behind him, Ryan Brommer just a couple spots ahead of him in 15th. And where is Mitchell Collins? There he is in 11th. It's been a good comeback run for the 22 machine, despite the early damage that he sustained. The other driver that he has to worry about is J Deaver, and right now Deaver is pacing this field. However, if Deaver leapfrogs him, gets locked into the playoffs, then that's not really a concern in terms of points. And Mitchell Collins is running higher, or I'm sorry, Ryan Butcher is running higher than a couple of drivers that were ahead of him in the point standings, like C Dollerton and J Millz, who are back in the garage area. Levi McIntire trying to get around the lap machine of William Brock. He'll get alongside of him. Looks like he may complete this pass before they get to the front straightaway chicane. Right now, with the exception of J Deaver, the rest of your top four are all drivers looking for their first win on the season. Llamas, Shelton, and McIntire. Well, if J Deaver is able to pull off this victory, then we will be looking at the same story twice in a single season. Coming into this season, both J Deaver, who was only in his second full-time year with S3 Motorsports, and A Garcia, they came into season 4 without a career win. Garcia, of course, picked up his first career win at Michigan. He then followed it up with 2 more trips to victory lane at Dover and a couple of weeks ago in the regular season finale at Auto Club. Well, J Deaver got his first career win back at Darlington. He followed it up with a second win at the Indianapolis Grand Prix, and he's looking to get his third career win here today at the Charlotte Roval. So if Deaver closes out the deal, then he and Garcia will be 2 drivers that came into Season 4 of the Duracell Cup Series with a 0 in the win column for their entire career, and could be ending out the season with 3 career wins. And I thought maybe Deaver was hitting pit road. I noticed how Llamas ran a slightly higher line through NASCAR turns 3 and 4. Deaver and K Batson have jumped onto pit lane. That's why I said might be able to make it on fuel, because this Charlotte Roval always seems to put a fuel strategy game together. So Cody's going to inherit the lead with Deaver pitting. Let's see who else came to pit lane of our front runners. It's like Benny Watson's coming down. Josh Taurus is in. There's Cole Baker, Charles Belding, Zach Rogers, Nathan Ormond, Austin LaPlante. I'm a little worried there for K Batson if they're going to have to spend extra time repairing the right side of that machine, as Deaver is down and away in the 08. Very lengthy pit stop to make sure that thing was completely full of fuel. And yeah, if you've been able to keep your car clean today, you will be rewarded with a fast pit stop. If not, you're probably going to spend a little extra time on pit road, probably especially to clear the area to be able to get the tires off, to change the tires. Look at Shelton! Woo! Letting Cody Llamas know, hey, I'm there. Got him in the left rear quarter panel heading into that braking zone on the back straightaway chicane. But these two might be hitting pit road this time. Let's see if either one are going to dive onto pit lane. Shelton is. Shelton might have been saying, hey, I'm coming to pit road this time, but I'll be back. McIntire, Almariego, Dylan Young on pit lane this time. Patrick Smith, Mitchell Collins, and I see Michael Norman, Ryan Brommer further back there as well, hitting pit lane. This is going to be the final time you'll see these drivers on pit road here, as there's less than 5 laps to go, 4 laps to go that time when Cody Llamas hit the stripe. Can anybody make it on fuel? That's the big question. What about Jacob Thibodeaux? Could Thibodeaux make it on fuel? Do you think? He is off sequence with everybody else. Caution's out! Oh, man, are you kidding me? I wanted to see this thing play out, but the yellow flag is going to rear its ugly head, and I mean ugly. We're not going to get to see how this fuel strategy race plays out to the checkers. It's the second straight time here today that a race at the Charlotte Roval is going to possibly end under the caution flag. It happened back in the non-charter race earlier on today, and now it looks like it's going to happen here in the main event. Now the question for Cody Llamas is, does he have enough fuel here under pacing to make it around? I mean, you're asking a driver that could maybe only have about half a lap left in the tank to make it around for another 3 laps. Jesse Turner's going to be happy, though. He will at least be finishing on the tail end of the lead lap, as he will finish ahead of Cody Llamas. Cody going to cross the line, receive the caution. Jacob Thibodeaux looks like he'll be crossing in second, and it looks like maybe the 48 of Austin LaPlante would be the reason for this yellow flag coming out. Man, that is a bummer. All right, so if Cody can't make it, and if Jacob can't make it, then who is in third? Who cycled to third? It's Shelton. Shelton will cycle into third place. So 3 laps to go. The 84 and the 33, questionable on whether they can make it on fuel or not. With having lap machines, I don't think we're going to get back green. So Cody Llamas, Jacob Thibodeaux, and Jessica Shelton, they're all going to be settling it out here in terms of who's got the fuel to make it and who does not. Shelton obviously does. But one of these 3 drivers is going to pick up their first win of the season. We're going to quickly go back, take a look at the caution, and then we'll come back and try and cover what's going to happen here for the final 2.5 laps of who can make it to the start-finish line. And pardon my frustration, but it's happened again. I just don't understand attacking the back straightaway chicane like this. Look at this. Lopes never seemed to lift, never hit the brakes. He gets by by Baker, swipes the 74 of Phil Parker. I mean, how do you expect you're going to make this corner legally? And then Belding comes flying in again. That's another thing I don't understand. Here comes LaPlante in the 48. He's going to clobber the back of the 11 of Cole Baker. So much momentum, he slides into Phil Parker. 2 things I do not understand there, and I wish that I could get inside the mind of these drivers to figure it out. Why do you carry so much speed into the chicane like that and expect that you're going to be able to make it through legally? And why, when they're already wrecking up there, do you still keep your foot in the throttle? I mean, do you feel that, especially now, it's your last opportunity to pick up positions and points? I just don't understand the mentality. Somebody up there is smoking. That's Belding. So I don't think he'll even make it to the checkered flag, playoff contender there. If it sounds like I'm frustrated, I am, because I just don't understand the driver mentality there in one of the heaviest braking zones, in one of the faster portions of the racetrack, heading into one of the heaviest braking zones that we have here at this road course. I just don't understand it, especially when it's a playoff race. We've seen too much unnecessary contact in that portion of the racetrack here today, and I just do not understand why we are continuing to see it. And unfortunately, too, it has now taken away an opportunity to see what could have been a very interesting fuel strategy race under green flag conditions. Now, with this caution coming out, more than likely we're going to see somebody be able to make it on fuel rather than see how this thing would have played out and who was going to have the best execution on a green flag pit stop. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword, and neither side of that sword is a good end. So nonetheless, let's go back, see what happens to close out this race, but very disappointing that we don't get to see this race play out the way that we should have. All right, so we are back here at the Charlotte Roval, and as you will see, Cody Llamas is not up at the front. He just hit pit road. He could not make it on fuel. And so that turns the race lead over to Jacob Thibodeaux with 2 laps to go. Does Thibodeaux have what it takes in the tank to get around to the start-finish line? I would wager a guess of yes, because remember, Thibodeaux came to pit road under the last yellow. And now they're starting to slow here. Wait a minute, is Thibodeaux out of fuel? What's going on here? Not sure what was happening there, as William Brock's now heading for pit lane in the 88. I think Thibodeaux might have the fuel to make it. Jacob Thibodeaux looking for what would be his 3rd career win, but first of the season. With a car looks like it's been through the wars. If he is able to close out this victory here today, it will actually be only the first time this season that Northeast Motorsports has gone to victory lane. Shelton is in second, hoping, praying that he does not have enough fuel to make it back around. If he does, this will be the 2nd straight week that Jessica Shelton will be finishing runner-up. Last week, it was by about half a car length. This week, it'll be under pacing by about a car length. Right now, Levi McIntyre, Patrick Smith, and Dylan Young, who's already locked into the round of 12, are your top 5. Carson Gum, Ryan Acosta, Cole Deaver, Laura Chung, and Dylan Schwallenberg. Right now being scored your top 10 drivers. 2 weeks where a caution flag has played its part into the outcome of the race. Last week, it was in the middle of green flag pit stops. This week, it was in the middle of green flag pit stops. There's a little part of me that would love to see a caution-free race next week in Indianapolis. I'm not holding out hope, but man, it's just a bummer when you would love to see how a cycle of green flag pit stops is going to play out 2 straight weeks, and then a caution comes out right in the middle of them both. And maybe it wouldn't have nearly as much prevalence if it was during the regular season, but the fact as well that there are playoff positions at stake. Even more so, you would like to see the thing play out under green flag conditions, but it is what it is. Not able to change it. As Thibodeaux, that car still sounds like it is under power. And Jacob Thibodeaux could very well be coming around here through the final couple of corners and picking up his first win of the season. Jacob Thibodeaux so far this year, 4 top 5s and 8 top 10s. It's not exactly been the best of seasons with an average finishing position of 20th. And he currently runs the 5th highest driver in the point standings, not in the playoffs. 21st currently in the overall standings if you also count the 16 playoff contenders up ahead of him. But he will finally find victory lane here in Season 4. He comes out of the final chicane, and Jacob Thibodeaux is going to be your winner of the Bank of America, whoopsies, the Bank of America Roval 400 at Charlotte Roval. And that was a big error on my part there. I was going to try and do the freeze frame as the cross start finish line. Instead, you got a nice little view of part of the infield. Oh, well. Which kind of sums up this race, right? Shelton, though, oh, man. What a heartbreak. Back-to-back second-place finishes there for her. Levi McIntyre so close to his first win on the season in 3rd place. But a non-playoff driver winning here today is going to make things interesting going into Indianapolis because right now, only one driver, Dylan Young, will have claim to one of the 12 spots in the next round of the playoffs. I believe everybody has crossed the start-finish line. Standings should be official, and indeed they are. Jacob Thibodeaux picks up his 3rd career win, first of the season. We gave you your top 10. Matt Haas is going to finish in 11th, Trey Wright in 12th, Nathan Ormond 13th, Carter Friesen 14th, and the defending winner, Michael Norman, will bring it home in 15th place. Talked about non-charter drivers needing to use some pit strategy to get up there. Give a shout out there to Laura Chung and Dylan Schwallenberg to finish inside of the top 10. That's not easy to do when you are starting outside of the top 35 for a road course race. So for your playoff drivers, where they all finish? Well, the highest of them was Dylan Young, but he's already locked in. Cole Deaver is going to finish in 8th. Trey Wright in 12th. Nathan Ormond in 13th. Jordan Lopez in 16th. Ryan Butcher, who came in the cutoff line driver, will finish 17th. Ryan Brommer 18th. Mitchell Collins was 21st. Keith Batson 22nd. Adam Garcia back in 23rd. Zach Rogers in 25th rather for Garcia. 26th for Zach Rogers. Boy, Cody Llamas not able to make it on fuel. Dropped all the way back to 28th. That's a tough break for him. Jesse Turner was the last car to finish on the lead lap. With that caution coming out, he'll finish in 30th position. The rest of the other playoff contenders all finished behind the wall. Belding in 35th, Jose Millz in 38th, and Chris Dollerton in 40th. So there will no doubt be a point shakeup at Charlotte, setting us up for what should be a very interesting first elimination race next week at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But Jacob Thibodeaux gets Northeast Motorsports their first win of the season. It's his first win of the season as well as a driver, and 3rd career win in Duracell Cup Series competition. Hope you guys enjoyed this race here from the Charlotte Roval. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe to part crew today. If you're like me and you were hoping this thing was going to play out under green flag conditions, well, hopefully next week we'll be in for an exciting finish. Maybe some green flag pit stops at Indianapolis. Just going to be honest with you, it was a bit of a bummer of a race for me. Would have loved to see how this one played out. But we're going to show you now your point standings heading next week as we showed you your full finisher results. And we will see when we get to next week at Indianapolis who will join Dylan Young in the next upcoming round of the playoffs and who's going to get to kick those legendary yard of bricks. Until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys next week at Indy.